The television.
What kind of test is that?
It came with, so.
All right, we'll call the meeting in order. Billy's going to lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anybody that would like the privilege of the floor tonight? I know there's at least one.
Yeah.
Jimmy?
I would like to ask the town to go to state DOT to implement a speed limit on State Route 10 down by the intersection of County Route 16 by Saputo, Domo, all through there. If they could just put it even from the beginning of the corners down to Hamden Hill Road. The traffic now that that bridge is done is moving 70 miles an hour some days. And with the number of tractor trailers that are stopping because they're missing Saputo's entranceway, backing up, going forward, trying to get around in there, it's a very dangerous area. And I really think the traffic needs to slow down a little bit. There's been one accident already. I don't know how, there may have been a few more that I don't know about. And there's been numerous cars. I know Larry Bergen's lost his mailbox twice within the last 6 months because of cars on the corners even going out of control. And I was told by state DOT I needed to come to the town to get things happening.
Yeah, we've got to send an official request in, and then they will review it.
Are there any,
It'll take
there aren't
probably
any
2 years.
signs up there at all?
No.
No.
For truck entrances and all that
No.
stuff?
Well,
No.
the problem is they moved the truck entrances.
Yeah,
It used to be for
Well, they
Saputo,
moved them
you could
back,
come
though.
straight across.
Yeah, and they switched it all around when they were doing the construction on the bridge. The trucks were going in down at the far end of the plant, down by Bergen's, and coming around. Now they switched it back, that the trucks are going back in between Domo and Saputo.
Yeah.
And Domo's trucks go up on Hamden Hill. Very rarely do you see a tractor trailer in on Domo anymore, because they're all trying to go up on Hamden Hill instead.
Yeah, it's turned into a nightmare. You got too many roads and.
Right, and you
driveways
got
all
them coming,
connected.
you got the tractor trailers come out of County Route 16 and they have to crank around down to 10 and crank back around into Saputo.
And usually wind up stopping.
Yeah, or they end up
Which is
going
not a good
across
thing
and
either.
realizing they're not supposed to be there and they're backing back up across that state road, trying to get back into the county road to get where they need to go.
yeah.
Is it more realistic for us to be asking them to lower the speed limit or to install some kind of alert type sign, that says dangerous intersection or?
I think we could do both. I think we could ask for the speed limit reduction, we could ask for additional signage, or maybe even some blinking lights, warning dangerous
Something,
intersections, or, I think we can ask for everything.
Because when people were traveling, when the bridge was harder to manipulate, people would go slower.
Yeah.
Slower, yeah.
But were they still going above 55, do you think? Or-
I don't think so, because that bridge was narrow and it was kind of like on a corner. Now it's a straight shot straight through there.
And it's smooth.
I'm wondering if 55 would seem normal, or if it needs to be lower. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah, well, see, and they also, the other thing is they moved the passing zone closer to that intersection, which didn't help either
No,
that was a
I think
sheer
that's another
nightmare.
thing we need
So
to
people
look
can
at, too.
pass, headed to Walton, clear almost to the intersection now, which is not a good situation to begin with.
Right.
I think we'll ask for 4 different things, and
Ask for all of it and we'll get half of it maybe.
if we get something,
Yeah.
we'll be happy, but.
It might help.
Yeah.
Perhaps we can get a roundabout.
Yeah, there you go.
We probably could.
It would certainly slow them down.
Oh, yeah, it would. maybe,
Well, if it didn't, it would make life real interesting, wouldn't it?
yeah.
It'd be fun to watch.
Might help those trucks coming out of the county road though.
Thanks for bringing that to our attention.
Yeah, like I said, and there's small kids down there now. I mean, it's not that, one house has two little ones that are out in their yard all the time. The other house has three kids now, they're out playing all the time, and personally, I've had cars in my front yard. And when my kids were little, they weren't allowed to play in the front yard, just because of the traffic down there.
Well, I've been down there a couple times this winter with the fire department, so
Yeah,
I know just what you're talking about.
yeah.
What's the opinion of the board? Everybody okay with sending a letter to
Yes,
DOT?
absolutely, yeah.
All right, then I'll get something out to, I've got the contact for the guy that's supposed to be changing the speed limit back to 35 outside the college entrance there in the town. But
Someday.
he told me he was doing it. That was a year ago. We'll, put in the request.
Thank you,
See where it
I
goes.
appreciate it.
Anybody else for privilege of the floor? Okay, we'll move on to approval of the minutes. Any changes or corrections to the minutes from March 12th? If not, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright. Bid openings. You wanna do the honors again, Al? You do such a great job every year.
I don't know how I ever got that job, but
You volunteered once, so now you're drafted.
let's be it. Okay. Okay, so we're looking for, item one for hauling fees, approximately 4,000 yards of number one wash crushed stone from sewage, sand, and gravel. Ryder pit, 4,000 yards of number one wash crushed stone from Clark Company, Romar, to Delhi Highway Department stockpile, Sherman Road, and bid will be, and so on and so forth, so let me go through these. This is a bid for item one that I just read off there. And this is from Schultz. And the bid will be awarded to one bidder with the lowest combined bid for both pits. Hauling of material must be complete by October 1st. This bid is for number one from Ryder Pit, $7.50 a yard. And number one from Romar Pit, $3.75 a yard. I'm submitting a bid to haul number one washed crushed stone. The price will be as follows for trucking per yard from April 15 through April 15 to 2019 through April 15, 2020. The price will be as follows. Seward, sand, and gravel, Ryder Pit $7.50, Clark Company, Romar Pit $3.75. Rates for will be $90 an hour for truck and driver in town use. If the price of fuel goes above $4.50 a gallon, it'll be a 5% fuel charge. If the price of fuel goes above $5 a gallon, it'll be a 10% charge. And if the price of fuel goes above $5.50 a gallon, I am moving out of the country. No, there will be a 15% fuel charge.
Who's that?
That's Carl Schultz,
Okay.
and the other necessary paperwork is also included. Okay. For item one, also Ben Reynolds. Hauling 4,000 yards of number one stone, 4,000 yards from Ryder Pit at $4.50 per cubic yard, 4,000 yards from Omar Pit at $2.50 per cubic yard. Total combined bid $7 per cubic yard. That's Ben Reynolds Construction Company. So for item one, from Kilpatrick's, Farm Products, item number one, Ryder Pit, $5.48 a yard, and item one, Romar Pit, $3.23 a yard. Also, item one, Todd Trucking, hauling rate, Seward, sand and gravel, Ryder Pit, $5.64 per yard, and from Clark Company, Romar Pit, $3.22 per yard, combined rate $8.86 per yard. Item one, Seward, sand and gravel. Hauling Ryder Pit, $5.50 a yard, and Romar Pit, $4 a yard. Seward, sand and gravel. Okay, this is also item one. Tweedy, Construction Services, Ryder Pit, $6 a yard, and Romar Pit, $3 a yard. Also, item one, Mark Babcock, item one, Seward, sand and gravel, the Ryder Pit, $5.74 per yard, and Clark Company, $2.94 per yard. Another item one. Gerster Trucking, hauling from the Ryder Pit, $4.75 per yard, Romar Pit, $3.15 per yard.
Is that 215 on the second one?
$3.15, and another one for item one. This is from the Fevers. Let's see, hauling approximately 4,000 yards of number one wash crushed stone from Clark Company, Romar Pit, Bloomville to the Delhi stockpile, $3.88 per cubic yard. And the proposal amount is figured without adding any New York State tax. We would have to supply a copy of our tax permit. I don't see anything as far as, Omar. Okay, those are the item ones. And then we have, item two is diesel fuel, and this is the price delivered to Delhi. Looking for a fix per gallon. Any and all fees must be included. Fuel must be cut 60/40 Caro by October 11th of 2019. And they are sealed bids. For sure. My fingers got to it. Sure nobody gets them down. Okay, this is from Rabideau. Number one diesel fuel, clear kerosene for the winters. The number one diesel fuel is $2.5719 per gallon. The clear kerosene for the winter blend is $2.9519 per gallon. 60/40 diesel kerosene blend, $2.7239 per gallon. And number three, that's what this is for. This is heating oil. This is also from Rabideau. Number two, heating oil, $2.4911 per gallon.
Can you say it again?
2.4911 per gallon. Nothing on, I don't, I was just looking for rock salt or purchased rock salt, there's nothing on that. Those are the only bids.
You should have one more in there from, heating fuel.
Okay, let me look. I will remember.
You have an envelope in there from,
Just a small, a regular envelope?
I believe so, yeah.
Is it somewhere? Ah, there it is. You are good.
I tell you.
You get to do this next time.
Because
I
the
would
person
be
sitting
here.
up there.
Okay, this is from Allison Oil for number three. Heating oil. Number two, heating oil, 2.39 per gallon fixed. And that is all the way from that. Okay, anybody? wanna do anything else? Give these all to Darren?
Darren, make sure all the paperwork's in order and award it next meeting.
Okay. I'll do that.
Will be awarding next meeting, you said?
Unless Darren leaves the country and doesn't give us paperwork.
He's not going anywhere.
Next up, franchise agreement with Charter. Did you hear anything, Matt? I didn't have a chance to get a hold of Kevin.
No, sorry, I don't have anything.
Okay. Moving on, the courtroom project. The old courtroom project.
So, since the last meeting, Mark and I had an impromptu meeting with the judge and Dale Downen and discussed, what we thought really was needed. And we've come up with a preliminary sketch. Next step is for Matt and I to have a meeting with Sarah Poole at the college. At this point, I don't foresee any forward motion on this thing during the spring semester. Time is just too short. But we're gonna meet with Sarah, decide whether it's her group or another group that would be appropriate to move this thing forward in the fall.
Do you have any questions on the rough layout?
Has everyone seen the drawing at this point?
The one, this one?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, we're just kinda doing what we looked at before, moving over on this end.
Yeah.
With Dale's help, Dale Downen, again, going over this from the code enforcement perspective, the one thing that we gained with him looking at this at the meeting that Bill was referring to was that the double doorway that we have over there, there's only need to have one door there. So that's gonna give extra space to move the wall to the door jamb of the one remaining door. So we'll have about 9 or 10 feet to the outer wall and bring out the wall that much further. So that was a big help as far as that's concerned, because we weren't sure whether or not we had to keep the two doors, but we don't, from his opinion, and he was the one that drew the rough sketch, by the way. So I think once we get those finalized into a drawing, then we should be in good shape. And like Trustee Bill said here, the school can't possibly do it this semester, so it's gonna have to be a full semester project as far as getting the work actually done. I think the amount of work that's being done under the proposal that we have submitted now through Dale, there's less work, so hopefully be a shorter time for them to actually get this accomplished. And again, I want to thank the board for the patience and going through and meeting with us, trying to get this thing resolved. But I think we finally have a drawing that we can live with, that'll accommodate everybody's needs.
And getting rid of that one door, we can put the ATM
Oh, right
in the
there.
entryway.
Yeah.
Before it was gonna be an issue for handicap access to the bathroom, so.
Correct.
We
Supervisor
kinda
is
killed
correct.
killed two birds with one stone there, so.
Well,
The one thing Dale did bring up that nobody had really thought about is we are gonna have to have, plumbing contractor relocate some heating elements,
So, yeah,
cause the heat's gonna wind up all being in the offices.
yeah.
Which is nice for the office, but it might be a little chilly in this room, so.
Then there's like a wall right there that kinda separates, when people come in that door, they won't walk right into,
As what Dale has drawn is that the existing wall that's there, that jut out, that's gonna be removed.
Yeah.
And there'll be a new knee wall put there so that the flow of traffic when it comes in will be, they'll turn, when they come in the door, there's gotta be a 5'5" platform there for Disability Act purposes, but they'll be able to come in and they'll walk this way, staying on that side of the room, and that's how they'll access the whole thing. So the prisoners that we had talked about, trying to have them, I shouldn't say the prisoners, the incarcerated people.
The alleged perpetrators.
The accused, there you go.
welcome guests.
The state guests will be sitting where they usually sit, they'll be sitting over there, in that area over there, and they'll still be separated from the public. So I think we accomplished everything as far as that all is concerned, and when and if we have a jury trial, that same space would be where the jury would sit as far as that all is concerned. They'd be in close proximity to the bench and to the witness chair as far as that all is concerned. So they were very conscious, liability-wise, I'm told, not that I'm aware of any letters or threats that we might have gotten. They were concerned about my safety. They didn't want to have a direct line of sight to me at the bench. So by doing it this way, the bench is gonna be recessed so that when the people come in, there isn't gonna be a direct line of sight from the doorway to the bench. I will be back behind the bench in the, towards the outer wall. So I think we're satisfying the insurance liability issues that were raised, the security concerns they had. And Dale and Bill put the whole thing together, as did Mark, actually. He was here,
I was here.
and we had the input on that.
And the window right here would get moved over onto this wall, meet the local ventilation
Oh, okay.
requirements for this room.
Yeah.
And then air conditioner obviously would be relocated on this wall too.
And with renovations, are we still, we're able to keep up to date with the ADA codes for everything or not? And do we need an architect or engineer stamping these drawings?
Dale says no. We wanted to keep him happy, which is why we kinda had him involved.
We twisted his arm.
Made sure he was happy before we proposed anything else to him, and he's good with this.
That's good.
Looks a little
If
more
everybody's
expensive
agreeable.
than what we were talking about before.
It actually really is not. You're talking about putting up 4 walls, some studs and some sheetrock.
Pulling out one
We're
or
gonna-
so, putting
we're
it
gonna-
over here, changing the plumbing.
Yeah, we've done it so that we can relocate the window instead of having to purchase another one.
Do you have any idea about a budget yet? Or is that where talking with Sarah comes in?
At this point, we don't have a budget figure in mind. I wanna have the meeting with Sarah and see what the college has got in mind. And I can work up material numbers easily.
Yeah, you might have some handle on that, right?
I know some people.
So,
I got a guy.
Got a guy. He's got a guy who works up the road.
do we need to make a motion or anything to move forward?
For a budget stuff?
Or are we?
I don't think we really need a motion at this point. I think the next step is for Matt and I to meet with Sarah.
Matt and Bill and
And
Sarah and get us some numbers.
See if this can continue to be a college project or if we have to look in the community.
Okay.
And that'll probably help us some with determining a budget number.
Great. Again, I thank the board for your cooperation. I think it's a good plan.
Anything for you, you know that, well, almost anything.
I'm gonna be good tonight. Put while you're ahead, I'm ahead.
Then please have to get up again.
Kathleen is here, she's here to keep the leash on. Don't
Needed
snap
longer
the
leash
leash
or
on.
longer arms, cause I don't see it reaching there, but. And like I said, the ATM issue will go along with, moving that doorway, getting rid of that doorway. So, once we get the details worked out on that, then we can move forward with getting the ATM installed there, so.
Okay.
Well, and perhaps we could turn that into a separate project. That's something we could consider, hiring a local tradesperson to get rid of the door, close that wall in and go ahead and get the ATM installed, if you'd like it sooner than, say, September, October.
If that was possible, I think that would really be ideal. And then we'd have a good idea of just how much that would generate. Again, it's not a cost, so far as the town is concerned. The owner of the ATM business will take care of much of that. The only thing is that we need the Ethernet cable has to be run there, and I don't know if there's a plug out there. That might be the biggest expense that we have with getting electricity to that area there, as well as the Ethernet cable, and then
Is there an outlet right there?
Yeah, I don't think either one's gonna be too tough. I think Chris said we only had to buy the cable, so.
Matt and I will work on that, and we'll have a number for the next meeting to go ahead and discontinue that one door and get it prepped for the
Right.
ATM.
that'd be super.
Fair enough, Matt?
I'll discuss it.
We'll discuss it.
How we doing with the mics? I don't see any red lights tonight.
Yeah, mine went off. I had it on for.
Mine wasn't.
I was
They're
trying to
great.
save mine
Won't
in
last,
case you
but-
needed it during the day.
They're great when they're on, I'll tell you, they really
Yeah.
look very, very
We haven't
good.
been able to find the other ones though, right? The ones that were here?
We do have them.
Oh, you do?
They're in the closet. It just have to be, it would have to be, there's a lot of boxes. I don't begin to know how they connect it up or disconnect these to do that.
That's off already,
Yeah.
just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I moved the one that was turning off over there,
Oh,
this
you
one.
gave it to me? Thank you.
I thought that seemed
Was
logical.
that an
thing to do.
indication that I shouldn't talk? Or what?
You can talk.
You're short term, where you don't get much word.